What's up, guys? So, in light of the new sparring session of Conor McGregor that I believe John Kavanagh put out, and before I get into the breakdown, I recommend you guys checking out the whole video on John Kavanagh's channel. He has the whole sparring session on there before the Chad Mendes fight. And this sparring session is especially interesting after seeing the other sparring session that Conor put out on his Instagram and looking at the differences between the two. There is a vast difference in the elusiveness and the footwork and just the fluidity of Conor McGregor. Even though Conor has a torn ACL, I believe in the left knee, he still showed tenfold the elusiveness that he has been showing in his recent fight with Khabib, as well as the sparring sessions around that. The constant forward and back movement with that sideways stance makes him a very hard target to hit. His shuffles, his redirections, everything he throws at his opponent here, who is Franz Lambo, it's just flat out beautiful to watch. I mean, the fluidity is very unique in the game. His exits were beautiful whenever he threw that left hand. Again, he's always very left-handed heavy, and he's always looking to set that up by throwing out his right hand, sometimes to mask in that step to get a little bit closer for that long left hand of his. But his exits are very smooth as well, always dipping and fading away after the left hand, and he usually fades out to his left, which is fundamentally correct, exiting out on the side that you threw your punch. Because when you're moving out that direction, you could kind of cover your chin at the same time with the shoulder, and very importantly, it's a natural movement where you can get back into your stance. So when he throws that left hand and he's not able to connect, his opponent's going to look to counter, and Conor just dips right under it, fades away, and he's right back into his stance. Now, if he were to dip and fade out to his right, now he's kind of stuck. He's overextending still, and he's very much open until he moves his feet, and the feet can only be moved after or before moving his head. It's very hard to move them at the same time. But moving out to his left, when he's fading away, he can also move his feet, and he's already back in stance. It's a very quick, natural movement to get away or create another angle for another attack. This is only for southpaw fighters, I'm saying. For orthodox fighters, it's the opposite. And if you actually remember this same defense, this same movement that he used here, you could actually spot in the Eddie Alvarez fight. Almost the exact same movement. I believe it was early in the first round where he kind of lunged out with his left hand, brought himself a little bit more forward because of the leverage in the punch, and then he dipped and faded out to his left to get back in stance and away from Eddie. I mean, what else do you see from the sparring session? There's so much Conor throws with just that one left hand, with just that one big setup for it. I mean, he has a lot of good footwork though. That is the biggest thing. I mean, he will go to the body. He'll throw a right, get the attention on it, throw a left to the body, and then afterward gets the opponent's mind on the body shot with the same setup, but this time he goes to the head. He'll fake like he's going to go for the left hand, and he actually leans forward. You can see his left heel get off the ground, making him seem like he's coming a little bit more forward. He's creating an illusion that he's closer than he actually is, baits his opponent to go for a long left hand. It's an open side on Conor when he throws his left straight, unless he puts his right hand up, which he doesn't normally do. But Conor sees it coming, so what he does is he slips to his left on the inside. His opponent doesn't leave his right hand up when he comes in, and Conor connects clean with a counter left hand. Not the most power because he had to switch his balance. He had to get off his foot, a little bit off balance while he's throwing the punch, but the full extension can knock his opponent off balance as well. And Conor's switching as he does it. So again, not that much power, but it's a very safe attack he's throwing. You see the replica of the Jose Aldo knockout. I mean, Conor's reaching out with his right hand, trapping the lead hand of his opponent to force out the right hand, which is what Conor's going to look to counter. So a sparring partner takes the bait, throws out the right hand, actually goes to the body, and is going to seek out the left hook over the top. This is the exact same thing Jose Aldo did. It's crazy. And not only is it impressive that Conor's able to connect with the left hand afterward, almost the exact same way he connected on Aldo, this was before the Chad Mendes fight. Right? This was not in preparation for Jose Aldo. So this kind of shows he's really not preparing for specific opponents sometimes. It's not a grand game plan for one opponent when he's training. And you can see Conor's right hand as the opponent's right straight is coming down. Conor actually touches it with his right hand. Good measurement for the distance. And he's moving back. Look how swift and quick his movements are. It's crazy. And ACL tear, way different than he is today, even injured. Puts the right hand to his opponent's face after he measured the opponent's right hand. Now he has the distance for his left hand. And the fact that it's so bent, his right arm but not all the way bent, there's a lot of power he could connect with that extension. His opponent's going for the left hook, and he's switching stances at the same time, which can only get his opponent off balance when he gets connected. And Conor kind of sits on the left hand. Now, it wasn't as effective as he threw it at Jose Aldo because he made one movement back. He made one step back on Jose Aldo and sat on his left straight. Here, he continuously tried to move backwards. And Franz tried to land with a right hook afterward over the top, but he gets connected pretty clean with his left hand. And again, bigger size gloves, headgear, and Conor didn't sit on his punch like he did on Jose Aldo. still had great effect, great impact on Franz that stumbled him a bit. And now one of Conor's best displays of footwork in this entire sparring session, where he's kind of walking down, pressuring his opponent back, which he does against Chad Mendes. He knew he was going to be able to do it to Chad Mendes. That's why he kept telling him who's going to take the first step back. Very confident that he would be pressing Mendes backwards. And he makes a shuffle here. He makes a redirecting attack. First gives that look to his opponent. He has this lolling, walking down, pretty intimidating stance and movement in front of his opponent. But then all of a sudden, he shuffles to his left. He launches off his right foot and shuffles to his left. His opponent looks for the left hook. But Conor moving to his left, now his opponent's second guessing himself. Okay, if I throw this left hook, it's not going to connect that clean because he's moving with the punch and away from it, which makes me vulnerable, right? Subconsciously, this is what's happening. Muscle memory shows, oh wait, I'm not going to connect with this thing. A last minute retraction on the punch, and that's all Conor wanted to see. So the guy ducks to his left, looks to duck on the left straight of Conor McGregor. But Conor doesn't attack. I mean, this is genius. I mean, this is a whole different Conor McGregor we were used to seeing. So the guy gets into the parallel stance and starts shuffling on the cage. And now Conor launches off his left foot and shuffles to his right. He completely threw off his opponent now. His opponent is now trying to connect with the right hand, potentially intercepting Conor, going to his left like he did before. But this time, he moved to his right initially, threw off the target of his opponent, which now allowed him to move to his left and on the outside of the punch. So he moved right to get the target away from where he's going to want to move quickly to his left to get just outside the punch. I mean, when you're able to slip a punch by just mere centimeters like that, that is the perfect slip because you shorten your time to get at the opponent, which is great, right? You don't want to lengthen your time to get at him. It takes too much time to get back because you slip too far away. Now you have to retract all that movement back to get back to your opponent. His opponent drops his jab and the left hook connects clean on his opponent. Went with the one shuffle, then doubled up on his shuffle to throw off the target from his opponent. Now this is a sparring session, so of course you're going to get hit. Of course you're going to make mistakes. Of course things are going to happen that you didn't want to happen in a sparring session, but that's what these are for, right? You don't want to make your mistakes in the fight. You want to make them in sparring, if anything. Because when you make them in sparring, you could correct them right afterward. If you make them in a fight, it's over. You most likely will not get that fight again. So people knocking on Conor for getting hit from this opponent, well, first of all, he kind of slipped. And here's a sequence here. Conor's kind of ducking low, giving looks at his opponent, moving his head around. But it is quite obvious he's going to launch in for an attack. So he reaches out and fires the left hand in order to measure for his right uppercut. This is a very similar combo he threw at Max Holloway many times, but Holloway relied a lot on footwork and getting away with his movement. Franz here, he didn't really move anywhere, right? He's kind of staying in the pocket and trying to slip on the punches, which threw off the uppercut from Conor McGregor. So Conor throws the left hand, goes for the right uppercut, but it kind of stuffs itself in. There isn't really much extension on it because his opponent didn't go anywhere and Conor launched in too far. So Franz goes and throws a right hand, but because Conor's moving out to his right, the right hand kind of misses and he's running into the left hook follow-up from Franz. But before the left hook is able to connect, Conor actually steps into his opponent's foot and he slips out. And mind you that his left leg is injured. I believe it is his left leg. Looking at Conor's documentary, it seemed to be his left knee that was injured, so it's very hard for him to get his balance from slipping like this. So he gets caught by the left hook. Pretty good. His mouthpiece comes out. It gives it some of a dramatic effect of how much this connected on him. But I think him falling may have caused the mouthpiece to excellently come out of his mouth as well. It was definitely a good hook. Definitely connected. But people knocking on Conor because of this is pretty silly. Now, throughout the sparring session, I was trying to see wherever Conor's knee buckled or something like that. And the only place I could really see is in this exchange right here, where Conor is measuring with his right hand, throws a light jab to pop his opponent's head back so he could connect with the right hook behind it. It's all setting up for the left hand. But his opponent counters Conor's right hand with his own right hand, and Conor tries to come over the top with the left overhand, and he just misses. Just misses. And he's way overextending. And his opponent sees the opportunity, he tries to capitalize. And he hops in with a jab, and look how Conor lands on his left leg. It looks like a very unstable and kind of painful position he took here. I mean, he was forced to put a lot of weight on his left leg, bends it so a little bit more painful, and he's forced to duck, and even like the way his arms are positioned, like elbow up in the air like that, and it looks like he's going to try to reach away, something Conor never does. It looked like he may have had a little bit pain here from landing like this, but it's very hard to see it really affect him, just like in the fight. I mean, other than maybe getting taken down so easily by Mendes, it was very hard to see his knee really impact him like that, but it just shows the toughness of Conor McGregor and how he's able to fight and compete and train and spar even with these injuries. Just looking at this sparring session, it was crazy. I mean, it was just a beautiful sparring session to watch. His movement was excellent. I believe he was a much better fighter back then, where he had the fluidity, the hunger, the drive, the motivation, the obsession, everything you want and you need to be a great fighter, a great champion in this sport. And it's just crazy. I mean, I said it a couple times. Having that kind of fluidity and movement while being injured is impressive. And what's even more impressive is, even with all that, it's way better than what he's doing today. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. And if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed my content, make sure to subscribe. Again, check out the video on John Kavanaugh's channel. He has the whole sparring session up. It's very interesting to watch when you look at the whole thing yourself. And my next video is going to be the top MMA prospects of 2019 video. So be on the lookout for that. And again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.